this is just in case there's a failure. I'll leave this back here. You can glance at it every once in a while if you like. It's just a courtesy to the folks at home.
They can't hear me.
You won't be able to see it up there.
No.
Is there any way to keep it?
Well, I can take a chair.
Yeah.
I don't think I should. Yeah. Well, usually this is our public affairs director.
Will we stand next to you?
I don't know if you want to stand next to me today.
I think the sheriff's going to actually stand.
Hey, how's it going?
How y'all doing? Good to see y'all. Wow. Good to see you.
We going back to school?
What's your address?
My place.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good.
How's everything in
God,
down
I'm so
south?
glad we're all wearing our shirts. You would think we got the memo on this, huh? I didn't.
In honor of Kerner, I put on my boots.
Yeah. Remember those days? Remember those days? Kerner?
In honor of Kerner, I put on my boots. My parents were you always had
Sure. There's more of us than there are. Exactly.
Mike, did you want it? Right here? Mark, did you want it? Mike, you want this?
Must be old news by now. You
Okay.
might have 15 cameras in there.
Wow. I feel really safe. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do you want me to speak into this, or is this in a good spot? Just where it is, right? Okay, good. You tell me when we're ready, and we'll get started. We're ready. Everybody ready? Okay, good. Everybody looks good? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Maria Sachs, and I am the mayor of Palm Beach County. The officials standing here with me have very important information to share with the people of Palm Beach County. Before Hurricane Milton made landfall on the west coast of Florida, a series of tornado warnings were issued. And just about 24 hours ago, thousands of residents were in a dire situation, watching and experiencing a terrifying tornado traveling south to north through the Wellington, Loxahatchee Groves, Acreage, Palm Beach Gardens, and Jupiter Farms area. Close to 1,000 individuals sought refuge in our 7 shelters overnight. Tomorrow, county operations will resume. Libraries, PalmTran service, and senior activities will be back in business. Check in advance for county parks and beaches, as they may be in recovery mode. Now, I'd like to turn our attention as I introduce Incident Commander Deputy County Administrator Patrick Rudder to give us all an update on damage assessment. Mr. Rudder.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everybody. Been a busy day for our staff out there on damage assessment. We have had a number of crews out doing evaluations of property. We've seen almost 16,000 properties, doing damage assessment for them in unincorporated Palm Beach County, doing those initial assessments. We've also been taking the information from our cities, and certainly you've all seen a lot of pictures and videos of whether it's Wellington or Palm Beach Gardens. They've been doing their own assessments as well. we work with that information and take it in, aggregate it here at the Emergency Operations Center in our system. So I've been working with our cities very closely. So it's been busy in that regard. Engineering and Public Works also started our morning early, checking our roads, checking the signals, our intersections, et cetera, making sure everything was safe. Been out there all day working that and bringing everything back up to normal. So been a lot going on, been a very busy day, but a productive day. So thank you for that, and allow me to introduce Sheriff Rick Bradshaw.
Thank you. Hi, folks. So what I did this morning was I went out there to Wellington area, which got hit the hardest. I went up in the copter, and I wanted to get a view of the entire area so we could be sure that our deployment of assets and personnel is what it's supposed to be. I can tell you this, it's a lot more extensive than you get the idea of it is when you're just driving through. You just see a couple places. When you see the devastation from the air, it's amazing. It looks like a war zone. The deputies did a quick assessment of some of the harder hit neighborhoods of about probably 200 houses, and I was just reading through it. Most of it says uninhabitable. And I can tell you why, because the places that I saw looked like it was an atomic bomb blew it up. So right now, you know, we went through the stabilization mode for us. That was getting out there, making sure everybody's safe, going through the neighborhoods. There were some areas the deputy couldn't drive in. They got out and just walked into the areas because we wanted to make sure everybody was safe and get them the assistance. So the stabilization part is over. Now it's a safety part to make sure that the neighborhood is going to be safe, because unfortunately we got people that will come to the areas to take advantage of people that are not there because they can't be there and think that they're going to loot stuff. So I'm going to tell you right up front, if anybody's got that idea, don't do that, because we're going to be there, and if you don't live there, don't come there. If you're just driving around, we're going to stop you, and you got to prove you live there, or you're going to come stay with us. I can tell you that right now. So we're going to make the place secure. I don't want people to worry about their belongings that they had to leave behind, but we also want to make it safe for them to come back and do what they have to do for recovery. So we're right now doing a couple other searches with our drones in some areas that we thought we couldn't get to because of the damage. I don't think there's going to be anything there, but we want to make sure. But our main emphasis now is safety. Traffic lights are out in some places. Treat it like a four-way stop, because we're going to be there. So just pack your patience. If you don't live there, don't go there, and we'll get through this. Thank you. I'll introduce the fire chief, since he's my friend. I'm sorry, Patrick Kennedy, fire chief. Sorry about that.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. First, I would like to share with our community members who went through this terrifying ordeal. My heart, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue's heart, goes out to all those that are affected by this terrible storm. I know many of you hid in your homes, many families with children, while tornado warnings were popping up all over the county. For those who were injured and transported, I am personally wishing you a speedy recovery so you can all get back to your loved ones. I am grateful we got through this without any loss of life in the county, and that was not what the initial reports were. The first tornado-related 911 calls came in at 4:55 p.m. involving people trapped on Deer Run Lane. More than 120 911 calls came in an hour and 45 minutes. Our dispatchers did an amazing job. The call started in the south in Wellington, moving through Loxahatchee, the Acreage, and Palm Beach Gardens, as mentioned. In disaster situations like this, we always hope for little or no injuries, and we did not experience that. We immediately sent units, more than 56 Palm Beach County Fire Rescue units arrived in this area to make sure that they responded to the call. Thankfully, we had almost double that, or half of that, ready to respond to the rest of the county in case there were other emergencies. As a matter of fact, there was another emergency structure fire down on the south end of the county at the same time. My firefighters tell me it looked like a war zone. Damage everywhere, power lines down. They knew immediately it had to be a tornado. Many of them witnessed the twister as they arrived on scene. At Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, we did have a total of 7 transports, and many others walked up to paramedics to get checked out. We had to do triage quickly when we arrived on scene. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue also conducted a few rescues. We dispatched our Palm Beach County Type 4 Urban Search and Rescue team that worked into the night and also went out and did surveys today in the area. I'm also told that they helped gather some belongings for some of the residents. The tornado had turned over a mobile home and partially crushed it. A patient was stuck inside. Our local urban search and rescue team, along with special operations team, conducted a technical rescue, cutting through the home to rescue the patient and the dog. The very first 911 call to come in involved 10 patients trapped in rubble, and the news was not good. The house was completely destroyed. Our crews removed 3 patients from the flattened wood. Thankfully, 7 others in the same pile of debris were able to get out unharmed. In other areas, we found multiple cars flipped over by tornadoes, as well as people trapped inside. A barn was partially destroyed. There were several horses that got loose, and the firefighters rounded them up and put them back in the undamaged portion of the barns. Today, like I said, the Urban Search and Rescue team is back out doing surveys and making sure that they can support the community. Amidst all this, we had enough resources to send to Palm Beach to St. Lucie County because we got an immediate request here at the EOC to send units north. And along with West Palm Beach, we were able to do so. We sent 5 total rescue trucks, 3 from Palm Beach County, 2 from West Palm Beach. I'm extremely proud of the actions of our firefighters, our paramedics, and our dispatchers who work tirelessly to keep everyone safe, and everybody here at the EOC, along with our partners in green, to be able to respond to the community. The work is not done. This is 24/7, and we are there for our community. We'll continue to deliver excellence. I would like to introduce FP&L's External Affairs Manager, Elon Coffer.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today to provide a few updates on the FPL front. We know that this hurricane has been a significant impact across our state and our service territory. So I just want to give a few figures of where we are at with today's restoration efforts. In response to Hurricane Milton, FPL has comprised a massive restoration force of approximately 17,000 men and women from over 41 states to respond to this storm. Our initial assessment over the last 24 hours or 12 hours or so since the storm has left Florida is that the investments that we've made in our hardening have proven successful in many ways and benefited most of our customers. Early damage assessments are indicating that we, as you've just heard, we have had some significant impacts from tornadoes and high winds that our crews are beginning to continue to assess and start restoration efforts in those areas. Across the entire service territory, we have restored over 730,000 customers already and are continuing those efforts 24/7 to get all of our customers restored. Here locally in Palm Beach County, we've restored approximately 96,000 customers as of approximately 4 p.m., and we still have 23,770 customers out of power. And as I mentioned, our crews will continue to work around the clock to make sure that all of our customers are restored as quickly and safely as possible. We know how difficult it can be to be without power, and we don't take that lightly as we continue our efforts to restore everyone. But we do want to make sure that to everyone out there, safety is of top of mind, both for our customers as well as our crews. We encourage you to listen to your first responders, listen to your local government officials when it comes to their warnings and instructions on local safety, and we'll continue those efforts to make sure that all of you get power as soon as possible. And thank you for your time. And I want to introduce Superintendent Mike Burke to come in.
Thank you. On behalf of the entire school board and school district, our thoughts are with all the families impacted by Hurricane Milton. Our assessment and recovery teams were out early today. They've been working hard all day to survey our 182 school campuses. And while most of the county is in good shape, we do have some areas that were very hard hit by those tornadoes. At this time, we're still working through some power issues and some HVAC air conditioning issues. So in the abundance of caution, we are going to keep schools closed again tomorrow. So schools will remain closed on Friday, October 11th. We will have a pre-scheduled teacher workday on Monday, and then students will return on Tuesday, October 15th. Just want to thank all of our employees who've been working hard to get schools ready. I think this extra time and the long weekend will make sure that we have every safety precaution, everything addressed, fully addressed when we reopen to our employees on Monday and our students on Tuesday. And in the meantime, I apologize for any inconvenience this is causing our families. I know a lot of families have to get back to work, but we really had to do what was best in the interest of the safety of our students and our employees. And as a large county, 2,300 square miles, we have to consider we have thousands of bus stops. We have to consider everything from the kids, what they're going to experience potentially early in the morning, waiting at those bus stops, to walking to school, to riding their bikes, to parents commuting. And we felt like there's still some cleanup that needs to be done, particularly in that western community that was hard hit. We also had some of our own employees that were heavily impacted by the storm. So this long weekend will give us a chance to really regroup and make sure that we are ready to go next week. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Dan Pelowitz from the Solid Waste Authority. He's the Executive Director.
Thank you very much and for the opportunity to be here. My name is Dan Pelowitz, the Executive Director of the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. All Solid Waste Authority facilities will be open regular business hours tomorrow, and collection will resume in the unincorporated area with regular Friday collection service. Our assessment teams have been out and identified several significant areas that were impacted by the tornadoes. This is clearly not a typical hurricane debris situation. Most of the unincorporated area has been minimally impacted by these storms, but the areas that have been impacted, those localized areas, have been impacted significantly. So we're asking residents who have minimal damage or are minimally affected to treat this as business as usual tomorrow and going forward. Place your garbage, yard waste, and recycling at the curb within the guidelines so that we can focus these additional resources we're bringing in on taking care of the people who really need it. We'll be relying on our franchise haulers to provide continuity of services for all of our residents and on a contracted debris hauler to collect large piles of storm debris. And through these efforts of both of these entities, you can be assured that all of this debris is going to be collected. If you are not in a tornado-impacted area or don't have significant amounts of debris, please do not use this as an opportunity to engage in wholesale cutting, thinking that FEMA is going to pay for it. We will be seeking FEMA reimbursement, but FEMA is very strict about what they will pay for and what they will not pay for. If you have storm-related damage, we are asking for your assistance and cooperation. Bring your debris to the curb as soon as you reasonably, practically, and safely can do so. There are a lot of trees that are leaning out there. They could potentially come down. This is not the time to start cutting down trees if you've never done it before, and it's not the time to pull out a chainsaw and try to do this yourself. So please be very, very careful. There is no need to hurry. This is tornado debris. It's going to take some time to get these big trees out of these backyards and these structures that have been damaged or destroyed out of these backyards. You do not need to rush. We will get it eventually. Keep your vegetative debris separate from your trash or construction or structural debris. That's very important because they are all managed separately. And separate all of this from your regular garbage and recycling. It's our objective to make sure that regular garbage collection service continues as it's supposed to, unimpeded. And please avoid placing piles near mailboxes, on fire hydrants, or on other structures, because these objects will be damaged in the collection process because that involves mechanical equipment. So please heed this warning and stay away from the fire hydrants and the mailboxes. And again, we typically have a 6 cubic yard limit that applies to vegetation. It does not apply to storm debris. So if you have storm debris, don't worry about how much you're putting out there. It is not an issue. And again, residents who have any questions or concerns or service issues are encouraged to contact us at 561-697-2700. That's 561-697-2700. That's our customer service line. And with that, I would like to introduce Emergency Management Director Mary Blakeney.
Good afternoon, everybody. We have been in constant communication with our local and state partners here at the EOC during this time. And we've been working to fill any of these local requests that come from local partners as well as state partners, and we'll continue to do so. We've been working and coordinating information that will be essential for our community's recovery. And we will continue to convey key information to our state partners regarding our recovery operations. One of the key partners throughout this whole process has been our National Weather Service. So they have been key since the beginning, providing us timely information and important information that helped us get to our decision-making process here at the Emergency Operations Center. So now I want to introduce you to the meteorologist in charge of the National Weather Service in Miami, Rob Moeda.
Thank you, Mary. Yesterday was a pretty remarkable event, regarding the number of tornadoes that we saw across the area. One of the more prolific tornado-producing hurricanes, at least in my memory. We're still going to be evaluating the numbers to see exactly where this ranks, but nevertheless, I think from what we've heard and what we've seen out there, the damage is certainly very significant. We just started doing the storm survey today. We've been in the Palm Beach Gardens area and in the acreage, and certainly that damage that we've seen is consistent with what we think is an EF3 tornado. So we're talking winds that could have reached at least 140 miles an hour. So for the state of Florida, especially for South Florida, that's that's pretty much on the high end of what we've seen here historically in this region. We're very thankful that there are no injuries. And I think that's a testament to the great work that everyone here that the EOC is doing, all the first responders. And our staff worked really, really hard throughout this event, especially yesterday. That's one of the most intense forecasting environments that I've seen, in my over 30-year career, where just, nonstop warnings. I think we issued a total of 55 warnings in the South Florida region alone. In the state of Florida, over 100 tornado warnings were issued, and at least 9 here in South Florida that were actually confirmed tornadoes, including the ones here on Palm Beach County. So I just want to reiterate our appreciation to Mary and her team, and to everyone here, everyone in this room, everyone in this building here who's working long hours to make sure that everyone's getting the information they need to stay safe. Thank you.
Okay, we're very pleased with everything that has gone on. We have been tested here in the county. Historically, they say that we've had more tornadoes here from this hurricane than in history, and we have met that. We are now closing, and I am thankful for everybody here who participated in this today, because I have to say, Palm Beach County was tested, and we met the challenge. From our firefighters to our law enforcement, everybody was here, our shelters. We have had no loss of life from this horrific weather episode. So everybody at the Emergency Operations Center, staff at the shelters, all of our partners, to ensure that our residents would be safe. And ladies and gentlemen, we owe a debt of gratitude to the men and women who run into a storm at our most vulnerable time in order to rescue our fellow residents. I'd like to thank the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Urban Search and Rescue Team for the incredible work that they've been doing responding in our county and aiding our partner counties at the same time that they're helping other counties as we should. As Floridians, they have also been taking care of our residents here in Palm Beach County. We appreciate the State Emergency Management Director's acknowledgement of all of our efforts, and we look forward to making sure that our residents are as safe after this storm as in preparation for. Many people have said that most people are injured in the cleanup than they were in the preparation. We were prepared We met the challenge. No one has loss of life. And now we want to make sure that everybody heeds the warnings of everybody who are surrounding me today, that we do the cleanup in a very safe and effective way. And now I will take any questions that anybody would have.
I have a few. Steve King, WPBF Channel 25 News. And I'll just ask some questions, and whoever needs to answer, that's fine. All in all, how many structures were damaged? About approximately?
Mary, do you have any estimation? Good. Okay, our commander here.
For unincorporated Palm Beach County, the ones that we've evaluated specifically, we're probably close to about 100 in various stages, and that's just from an initial damage assessment. We're still getting the information in from our cities who are conducting their own assessments, so I don't have that final information available.
Any schools, hospitals, or any other critical infrastructure damage? I know Superintendent Burke, you mentioned the schools, there's some power and HVAC issues, but any schools, hospitals, or any other critical infrastructure damaged?
Mr. Burke?
No, our schools are structurally okay. Just we've been clearing trees, that type of thing. It's mainly just getting the power back and making sure the HVAC is working. Thank you.
Thanks. But regarding hospitals or any other critical county?
From what we have heard, none of our hospitals have been impacted by the storm or by the tornadoes.
And I know you said 7 people transported to the hospital in the county. Any information